we need to talk about strumming patterns. What I mean by strumming patterns. Well, when you're learning guitar, you learn all of your chords, or you learn a few chords to get by. You've got G and C. Well, to go from G to C in a song, you're probably going to want to strum something. And when you're starting off learning how to strum, one of the most common ones you might see is down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. And everything has to do with your right hand. Whatever hand you're picking or you're strumming with, you're telling yourself what direction you need to go. Do you need to go down or do you need to go up? Now, even as I'm playing this video is going to be very different than anything I've ever done, because the strumming patterns as a whole, I know they're necessary. You're out there, you've been busting it to learn as many chords as you can. You've come here to learn strumming patterns, and now you got to deal with me being just a wet blanket when it comes to strumming patterns. Well, I want to teach you everything that comes to my head when I'm thinking back to the strumming pattern days, because I want to let you know, maybe my first frustration with strumming patterns is that it's one of the only things I can think of where you learn it so that one day you don't have to know it, if that makes sense. Most guitar players out there, I say most, if you are putting yourself into like the intermediate or advanced category, when it comes to guitar, rarely do you ever listen to a song and think to yourself, you don't start thinking strumming patterns. Rarely do I ever pick out a song and I'm thinking to myself, is that down or is it up? Is it down, up, down, or is it down, up, down? Or maybe it's down. It gets so confusing. So just like when you're saying the alphabet, there comes a point where you're wanting to learn how to say your ABCs and you learn your ABCs, but then there becomes a point where it just happens effortlessly. That's what you want to get to. So I'm going to spitball through this video off the top of my head, all these different strumming pattern ideas and concepts, and hopefully you'll pick up some nuggets, some jewels along the way. We can work through this together. So no script, no notes, strumming patterns. Let's get started. So I want to go to a G chord, like we were mentioning earlier, and let's go to that C chord. When you're thinking down, you're thinking from heavy to light. Physically, when you're performing a down strum, you're going from the lower strings to the higher strings, which is naturally going to sound from low to high, more bassy. If you're doing an up strum, you're going to have to hit the high strings first and work your way to the lower strings. So an up strum is going to necessarily have a higher sound than a down strum will. 9 times out of 10, when you're performing an up strum, these are happening on off beats. So if you're counting to 4, let's start off with a very simple, we want to count 4 quarter notes, and we want to do a down strum with each. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the way I'm thinking first is I need to perform a down strum on each beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I said change. You've got to be able to change your chord. If you're going from one to the other, you got to be able to change before the downbeat of the next measure. So the way I'm thinking of it is that the change is happening on the and of 4. Like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So there is an and. There's an off beat, okay? Anything that goes in between the beats, we're going to call an off beat, at least on this video. So you're going through strumming, and you need to learn how to change chords. Your first strumming pattern should be simply down strums. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, change chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, change 1. The most important thing is that when you're changing chords, you don't lose that sense of timing. Chord, 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 chord. when you're changing chords, you really don't want the breakup in between. Here's a bad example. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. You can't have that. It's got to be consistent. So a lot of times when you're starting out on strumming patterns, just focus on downstrums. Okay, get your downstrums down, and focus on your chord changes. Because if you can't hit those chord changes, the rest of your band or the people you're singing with, your group is not going to wait up for you to change chords. So always start with downstrumming. If you're just starting out on guitar, you're just learning some new chords, don't worry about doing anything fancy with your right hand just yet. Get down to basics. Now you can go beyond this. As you get more complex with strumming patterns, it's not about introducing more upstrums. It's about developing feel and rhythm to your strumming. Just like when you're painting, a lot of times maybe you're going to start with primary colors. You might start with blue, yellow, and red. Then you start to get a little experimental. You start mixing colors together, and then pretty soon you've got fuchsia and I don't even know. I'm not a painter. We were just watching Bob Ross recently, but you want to get more and more complex as you're developing your strumming pattern. But you start with something super simple. It could even just be one strum per chord. G, 2, 3, 4. Change C, 2, 3, 4. Change G, 2. Just do one strum per measure. That's fine. It's all about making sure you hit those chord changes. Now I'm going to show you how you're downstrumming. I'm not going to do any up strums yet. We're only doing downstrums. I want to show you how it can progress by adding more feel. So the next one, I was going to play like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're introducing downstrums on the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1. Counting them out, we go down, 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 down. And yet again, I'm reminded as I'm saying this out loud how silly it feels. Hopefully you're getting the gist of it. You can take nothing but downstrums and you can start to develop them. It's not necessarily having more downstrums, but you're developing feel. As I was playing that measure, I'm thinking about breaking it up. Listen to how the measure builds as I'm strumming. So I'm not only building dynamics, I'm not just getting louder and louder as the measure goes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm also building and how many strings I'm hitting. So the first few downstrums are just the low E, the low A, and maybe the D string. Then by the end of my G chord, on that fourth beat, I'm gonna hold out the 4. By that point, I'm hitting all the strings, all 6 strings. Watch how many strings I'm hitting. So I'm developing the rhythm. It's going from simple, where we started, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm introducing more strumming. I'm counting the eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm also introducing some dynamics. I'm trying to make it louder as I'm building. Then we have this, speaking of building, if you're in a section, especially praise and worship music, this happens all the time. You can take that down strumming and basically you're building to nothing. All right, here's how it goes. That whole thing is downstrums. Okay. The thing is, I'm not trying to increase in volume. I'm just trying to make sure the groove, make sure my timing is good, make sure I'm changing the chords in time. And I'm mostly thinking bass notes, bass. If you're going to be doing downstrums on all of the eighth notes, you're going to want to be quick when you're doing your chord changes. Because again, we can't add eighth notes to measures that aren't there. You have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So now you've got to change your chord in between the and the downbeat of the next measure. That can get a little tough. Now let's introduce some upstrumming. Upstrumming has a certain feel to it. And I mentioned praise and worship music. It seems like contemporary worship music, especially in churches, we've really gotten away from a lot of upstrums. If you're listening to a song on the radio, a lot of times the acoustic guitar part is going to sound like this. It's almost become like a percussive thing. So depending on what song you're doing, the strumming pattern may be very complex, may not be complex at all. There was a time, I would say during Chris Tomlin's early stuff, like How Great Is Our God, Holy Is the Lord, all that stuff happening in the early 2000s, you heard a lot of this down, down, up, down, up, down, down. So let's play that one together. We're going to start with the G chord. We're going to go G, C, E minor, and then D. We'll do one measure each, down, down, up, down, up, down, down. I'll try to tap my foot so you can hear some sort of pulsing, almost like what would be a metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down. Let's play that a little bit slower. Back to the G chord. Just stay on G. Down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down. When I'm doing my up, down, up, I'm not trying to hit all 6 strings. If you're trying to hit all 6 strings when you're strumming the guitar, you're giving yourself more work to do than is necessary. The upstrum, like I mentioned, a lot of times is fitting on some of these off beats. Up, down, up. Most of the time, it's this high E string, high B, and the G string. So back to our example, down, down, up, down, up, down, down. My first 2 downstrums and my last 2 downstrums, I'm strumming all of the strings. Down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down. Strumming patterns. Again, as you're learning these, it's going to feel robotic. It should feel robotic early on, just like when you're learning how to use a metronome or learning how to keep time with things. Don't worry about style just yet. Style will come later. You can add your own artistic interpretations as you're playing through the song. But when you're working on your strumming patterns, it should feel very robotic. It should feel very mechanical. Because you can take that mechanical strumming pattern, and if it's solid, if your timing is good, you can actually start to meander around, not only with how loud you're being, but the timing of your strums. Okay. Back to the down strumming I was talking about earlier. One of the things I will do 90% of the time if I'm changing chords is I'll throw in an up strum. Reason being, especially if I'm in G major, my ring finger, my pinky are on the 3rd fret, B string, and E string. So it doesn't matter if I'm playing C, E minor, or D. Most of that upstrumming is involving these 2 notes. that can help me when I'm changing chords, because if I have whatever is anchored, meaning it's the same no matter what the chord is, if it's going to be anchored, it's there for a long time. For example, if I go back to down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Do you see how I'm using that up strum as almost like a pickup for the next measure? Back to our example that we learned, the most complex one we learned was the down, down, up, down, up, down, down. You can add an up strum to that strumming pattern. That up chord, up chord, up chord, up chord. That up strum can be very beneficial to you, especially if you're trying to carry over some of that sound. So it's not just like dead strings. It's very telling when you're doing your chord changes, the amount of negative space that you have in between your chords. If somebody's going from G to C, and even if their timing is good, if they play it like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Timing wise, I might have hit the chord change on the downbeat where it's supposed to be, but because I stopped playing altogether, because there was silence or negative space there, everybody's going to notice what happened to the guitar. Why did the guitar stop playing? So introducing a little bit of an up strum and then your new chord. Overdoing it quite a bit, but up and then chord, up and then chord. Think about it that way. So many of those down, up, down. Makes you think kind of like Antonio Banderas. Down, up, down. That's what I was saying. There's a certain feel that happens when you involve a lot of up strumming. There are going to be certain songs where a lot of down strumming, might start to feel repetitive, might start to feel boring, but it just all depends. If you're a solo act and you're on the acoustic guitar, you're a singer-songwriter, you can certainly get away with a lot more variation in your strumming pattern. Now, there are also some, I would say, hokey-pokey or kind of quirky parts of up strumming specifically. You're probably familiar a lot with, I'm going to try this one out. You might be familiar with this strumming pattern. Emphasizing the up beat. So I've still got some down strumming, but it's mostly being muted. As soon as you emphasize that upbeat, it starts to sound like something like an old Beatles song, some more classical guitar. I want to say classical guitar, I mean classic guitar. Makes you think of the beach, makes you think of maybe some Colby Calais music or Calais? There's definitely an era for it. So with that, I'm muting as I'm going down. Work on your palm mute stuff. I've got a video somewhere. Talking about palm muting and everything like that. Watch for that video. I think it's on rhythm specifically. But you want palm mute on your way down and then up strum. As you can hear, as soon as you introduce a lot of up strumming, you kind of fit into certain styles or genres just automatically. There are certain strumming patterns that are very specific for certain genres. Keep that in mind as you're going forward. As for the most part with strumming patterns, the more your ear develops, you will literally start to hear this in music. You'll break a few songs down robotically, and then it'll start to come naturally to you. Same way you can listen to a song. Do you remember when you learned what a snare drum was or what a kick drum was? As a drummer, you can start to hear things like, oh, that sounds like a 20-inch tom, or that sounds like a 12-inch tom, or that sounds like a crash cymbal, that sounds like a ride cymbal. The more familiar you are with the vocabulary, the more you can start to recognize these things in music. You'll actually not be thinking so much literally about what the strumming pattern is. You'll be able to play stuff off the cuff. Hopefully this has been a little bit of a introduction to get you going into strumming patterns. I apologize to anyone that's super offended, but strumming patterns are just simply the worst. They are necessary, and please, if there's any resources you know of that's helpful as it comes to strumming patterns, feel free to let me know in the comments section. If this was helpful to you, or if there's questions that you specifically have about learning the guitar, I'd be happy to help out. Just let me know in the comments section, and I'll do my best to put together something in the future. If you hung in this long, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.